All across my gaming experience, Sonic the Hedgehog has always been the series I visited the most. And with Lost World on everyone's mind, I'd like to inform you of where I stand going into this new Sonic game. Now, I've done 2 impressions videos strictly for Lost World, but I've never really given you all a definite stance on the series as of now. Now, like I've said in the past, Lost World is shaping up to be one of the best in the series. But what does that mean to me? Well, not sure considering the game hasn't came out yet, but I'm sure I can come up with something, right? I've been a fan of the series since Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I'm still active today. Over Sonic's history, there have been games that I consider really good, and some even fantastic. But when comparing Sonic games, I like to categorize them into 2 sections, 2D and 3D. Makes sense, right? For gamers in the early 90s, I imagine Sonic the Hedgehog was like Call of Duty or Mass Effect. I'm serious, the classic Sonic games are still to this day considered the best by many, and for good reason. They were fast, colorful, and the music was outstanding. But then, when Sonic Adventure came along, these fans started dying out. Not literally. While playing a 3D Sonic game, have you ever had an older relative watch you play and ask, "What is this? This isn't Sonic." Well, I can say it happened to me. Adventure brought in this new 3D open world gameplay and story elements that I love, and it expanded for games to come. To me, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 were really immersive games that I got a chance to fully connect with. I could play these games non-stop because of the variety they offered. Everything from the music, control, stories, and chao gardens. These games were responsible for making me stay with the series. Afterwards, I get more involved and keep purchasing the titles. However, like the classic era, another era had fell. People stopped caring after 06, as did I, and completely lost interest in the series. Now obviously this wasn't the end, but I only bring this up for a reason. These games are a thing of the past. Though it saddens me to say that, you have to face that there will never be another adventure game. As hard as it was, I had to accept the fact that we are in a new age of Sonic. There is a whole new audience dedicated to the series, dedicated to only Sonic, dedicated to the Wisps, dedicated to Sonic the college student. I accept the fact that the games I loved as a kid are now just throwbacks never to be continued upon. Now, I can honestly say coming back into the series was rough for me. I thought the Werehog was stupid, and I didn't think Sega was doing a good job at luring me back in. Kinda like how Adventure was a totally different experience in contrast to the classics, and to be honest, I still think it's a stupid idea. Unleashed wasn't anything above good to me, and Colors didn't change my mind either. I gave it a shot, and all I got was Unleashed without the Werehog and 90% more 2D sections. I'd go from website to website, hoping to get at least one good review, and all of them said it was the best Sonic game in ages.
Sonic Colors on Wii is probably the best 3D Sonic game to date.
I don't agree with that, but again, I have to accept the era in which Sonic is in. But that doesn't stop me from asking questions like, where are my multiple characters, Lost World? Where are my set pieces, Colors? Where is my multiplayer, Unleashed? Sometimes, I find that it's in my nature to be pessimistic about any new Sonic the Hedgehog game. Where he is now is not what I loved as a kid, and I know it's hard for a lot of people to forgive that. There is only one game I like in this new generation, and that is Sonic Generations. I plan on loving Lost World, and I'm glad they left the whole boost formula. But with doubt in mind, I can honestly say it won't be my favorite Sonic game. What? Whoa, it hasn't even came out, you idiot. Gosh, you Sonic fans are always naive. Yeah, I know. But my heart for Sonic is in an era I felt cared for. After Generations, there were tons of people wanting Adventure 3, which is great, but that is never going to happen. It is 2013. The series does not need to prove anything anymore. With the Adventure games, I feel Sega was much more focused when making Sonic the lead seller of the Dreamcast. They set out to make these games ambitious, unique, and replayable. When they had nothing to prove, they made experimental titles like Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Riders, you know. All I can get from the modern games, Sega struggling to make a comeback, which I think paid off in Generations. They have nothing to prove, and I have nothing to fall over. The characters I once loved are now story props, and are only used for party games. And I feel that's because the critics hate them. But they don't hate Mario's friends. Why? Because they're usually not playable in the main games. I see what they're doing. The stories I could recite as a kid are now just a lovely memory. But all of that doesn't offend me too much. I still have my Sonic games I love. I still have my Sonic games I can hail as the best in the series. I can go on my Xbox and play Sonic Adventure 2 any day of the week. As a fan of the series, I can accept the fact that Sonic is in a new age. Newer fans will most likely say that Colors and Generations are the best Sonic games, just like I do with the Adventure games and Heroes. That was my era. this is their era. Though I'm not as big of a fan as I was 10 years ago, I still buy these newer games because I like to see what they try to do with the character. Sure, most of them have been one-off games I never go back to play, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It's like watching the Star Wars prequels after watching the original. You don't like them, but you watch them because you're a fan of the series. Until Sonic becomes a blatant Mario clone, I'm always gonna be a Sonic fan. Because of its Mario Galaxy design and heavy use of nostalgia, Sonic Lost World doesn't really have a lot to prove, but it's shaping out to be promising. To sum my thoughts up, I understand why Sonic is the way he is today. I just prefer when he wasn't this way. I like the charm and uniqueness that everything pre-06 brought in, and they felt like 3D Sonic the Hedgehog. Nowadays, they're cool, quick little adventures I don't go back to play after completing. There. Now you know where I stand with the series. Have a great day.